if you have questions or you want to, comment on it, please, I welcome that in class, but we're not going to go over those pages in class. We're really going to stick to the Hebrew in class. Okay, welcome back, Connie. Hopefully that solved your problem.
That happened once else when I link in through my calendar. One time I did it and I created all kinds of stir, and I did that again today, and look, and maybe this is going to hold now.
Okay. Well, let's hope so.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry.
Okay. So,
Rachel,
yes.
I looked further as far as I saw where it said out of print, but I pursued it and then I got a copy with no problem.
Of the Inca book, buying it, you're saying?
Yes.
It's out there. I agree with you. Yours look newer than mine. Mine is a bit used, but not a big deal. But yeah, it's very interesting also that today I was reading. So this book, as we remember, is Noah Go Lincoln. His son, David Go Lincoln, is still a rabbi. He's at the Schechter Institutes in Israel, a Torah Fund institution, a recipient of Torah Fund dollars. The Women's or Sisterhood Florida region newsletter today, was it the Florida region? No, I don't think it was Florida. I can't remember which region I was reading. I read like 3 or 4 this morning. And one of the region presidents was quoting his son, David Go Lincoln, which I thought was, apropos. Anyway, so a very learned group of rabbis. Geraldine, yes.
Well, just to let you know, David Go Lincoln is in the United States this week.
Oh.
And the reason I know that is because I was trying to get a copy of the book, which I won't have until Monday, because David Go Lincoln, Abe Go Lincoln is his brother, and that's where I was getting the book from. And they happen to be a member of Beth Shalom, where Noah Go Lincoln is was a former rabbi.
Mm-hmm. Very
so
cool.
I got to really learn.
The Rabbi Emeritus is what they say, but that's cool. That's it's a very small Jewish world. So, okay. So with Aleinu, we talked about. I'm pretty sure we talked about, and shake your head if I'm right. The choreography or not. Maybe that was my afternoon class. We did talk about the choreography. We didn't? We did. Some yes, some no.
What do you mean by choreography?
Of when you bend your knee, when you bow, when you stand back up.
We did.
Yes, that's what I call choreography. So good. Okay. You know what? We're just going to start at the top. Hopefully we're going to move pretty quickly, okay? Eileen, will you start for us?
Oh, where am I reading?
At the very beginning of Aleinu, I'm sorry.
Which, this book?
So, no, the prayer Aleinu, the Aleinu prayer. So I'm in Siddur.
Oh, you want me to use a Siddur? Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. I got mixed up.
Yeah.
What page in Lev Shalom?
56.
No, 205.
Did you have any trouble ordering it? Because I ordered it and it's supposed to be on its way to me.
Okay, well, so Lev Shalom, you're going to find Aleinu in a lot of places.
Yeah.
So it probably is at 205 as well. I'm going to take a quick look. I believe you. But because Aleinu, yeah, it's on 56, it's on 205. It appears in several places toward the end of several services.
And Sim Shalom, it's on page 510.
Right.
Thank you. Okay. So does everyone have an Aleinu prayer in front of them to look at? Okay. Thank you. Excellent. Okay.
Go
ahead.
Lishabeach la Adon HaKol.
Go one more.
Oh, la Tate Gedula Lo Tse Bereshit.
Okay, the third word, liyotzer. You see?
Liyotzer.
There you go. Perfect. Yes.
Okay.
Maybe I didn't hear
what did I say?
I don't recall, and it doesn't matter. Sue, will you do the next two?
Shelo asanu kigoye haaretzo.
Keep going.
Velo samanu kamish bahot ha'adama.
Lovely, thank you. Barbara, will you continue?
Shalom, Sam, Chelkenu Kahem, Begora Lenu, Hamona.
All right, let's slow down here. So the first
Oh,
word in that
Kahem.
second line, the first word.
Okay, Begora Lenu, okay.
So it's Vigo,
Kol,
the O before the resh, the Vigo Ra Lenu, okay?
Begora Lenu, okay, so
Perfect.
I said.
Don't worry about what
Vigo,
you said,
okay.
only what's the right one.
Begora Lenu, okay. Kichal
Mm-hmm.
Hamonam.
Perfect. That's it. Kachal Hamonam. Now, even though it's a cha, it's really, we got that O. It's kachal. It's really usually said kachol Hamonan. Okay.
Is that a
Okay.
hyphen between those two words, Rachel?
Kachol and Hamonam has a hyphen. Yes. in
That mean
between.
it's one word or just, what is?
You know, in this case, I'm not exactly sure. I'm not real good with hyphens in Hebrew.
Yeah. Okay.
I apologize for that.
no.
Okay. So now we're at the line where we have that little red, at least in the Lev Shalem book, we have the little red indicator that says to take a small bow. And in reality, we're not gonna, even though they have to put it at the end of the line, we know we don't do it on anachnu, we do it on korim, right? That's just some choreography for you. So Connie, will you read for us there?
Va'anaknu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu.
That was beautiful. Thank you. Jane, will you unmute and read 2 lines?
Rachel, I'm sorry, I'm totally lost. Can you tell me where we are in Sim Shalom?
Page
What?
508.
No, there I am. It's
Okay, so we
what
are,
line?
hold on, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 lines down, 2, 4, 6, 8.
No,
Yeah,
in
we're on the
Sim
10th line.
Okay, Thank you.
think.
1, 2.
No, 9th line.
9th line? Okay.
Is
All
it the short one?
Yep, sort of.
Okay.
right, Jane, are you willing to read?
I'm gonna
Shahu.
try Shahu,
Yeah.
no, tot, no
Tet,
tot, no
tet.
tet,
No ta.
no tet, me, shamayim,
Shemaim. Mhm.
shamayim, ro, sad,
So this is you say the
Oh.
vav
Oh.
because it has a shva under it. So it's the beginning of the word. So you give it a little short va. And then the yud has a dot over in the upper left corner. So that's the vowel for O. So v'yoseid. There's 2 dots under the samach. It's a A sound. V'yoseid.
yosaid, rets.
Yes. Would you like to stop or you want to keep going?
Umo, shat,
Shav.
Moshav, Yikaro,
Mhm.
Shamayim,
Yes.
Mima'el.
Ow. Mima'al. There's a
Ma'al.
straight line under there. Mima'al. That's good. Thank you. Arlene, will you unmute and do 2 lines?
Ush. The
That's a,
Ish.
actually, that's a chaf. not a vet. So it's a chi.
Ush. I'm sorry. I missed what you just said.
So this word is ushchinat because the third letter is a chaf.
Okay. He not.
Yes.
Ooh, let's see. Uzvo.
Uzo. So the Zion, the middle letter, the Zion, it has that dot in it. Ignore that dot. That dot does not mean anything to you. It's a pronunciation mark that doesn't change the fact that it's just a Zion.
Bega. And I have a question about that. Why is that vowel? Why is it larger than normal under the
The gimel.
second letter in?
The gimel is
On the
that larger than normal? You know what?
For me,
You're right. It looks a smidge larger. I don't know why it's larger. I would not worry about that.
Begova.
So this word begav hey.
Bega,
So
yeah.
under the bet you have the two dots, the shva, which mean you give it a short but then under the vet, the third letter, that shva actually tells you it's the end of the syllable and the letter has no vowel with it. So begav, you just give the vet sound and then hey, begav hey.
Continue on because I've lost my place. So please go on with.
No, we need
else.
you to find your place. Okay. All right. So how many lines down are we? 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Begavye mero mean.
Perfect. Exactly.
Mero mean.
Yes. That's perfect.
Hu Eloheinu. Ainod.
Perfect.
Ain
Yes.
Ode.
Ain ode. Excellent.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Susan.
I have
will
a
you-
question.
Yes. Yes, Barbara.
Back in this line, for Begav Hey, there's also a dot under the gimel. There's a straight line and a dot under the gimel.
Not in my book. Unless you.
Well,
the
maybe
dot-
mine is a really old one.
It's in
I'm
my
using
book.
A Sim Shalom.
Yeah.
That's
I think
the
I
small
have
one.
this one.
You've got the little one.
I have the little one, and so I have to scan and enlarge the page. And okay, there were a couple of times where there were extra dots, and I
Right, how many?
wondered if it was what you had said before about trope being in them.
Well, yeah, so what are 508 in Sim Shalom? Hold on. I got
No,
the-
510.
510.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so let me see. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So in the Sim Shalom, you're right. It looks like you have the straight line for the vowel and then the dot.
Yeah.
So a patach with a dot under it, as opposed to in the Lev Shalem, we have a kamatz, not a patach. So, I don't know why they switched.
Okay.
Isn't it the same sound anyway?
It is exactly the same sound. Yes, but
Maybe it's just in the printing. And
I kind of doubt
No,
it. I'm sure there was a
they do
reason.
more than once. This
I'm
they
sure
do-
there was a reason, but we're
A
gonna
different
see.
a different editor probably.
Right,
So
exactly.
I'm just gonna ignore that when I see it, right?
That's correct.
Okay,
You're gonna treat a kamatz and a patach the same, just
that's true, but the extra dot is what
correct,
made
right,
it
yes.
confusing. So,
Yes, I agree with you. And there are different pronunciation notations in the different versions of these prayer books. And if you read at the beginning of the book, they usually tell you what they are, but in all honesty, don't worry about it. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so does that mean we're at Emmet, I believe?
Yep.
Yeah.
Susan, will you pick up there?
Emet Malkeinu Efes Zulato
Mhm.
Kaka Tuv B'Torato.
Perfect. Stop there. Thank you. Lenore, will you do the next line?
Yes,
After kakatu. So what picks up, we have kakatu b'torato, then there's a colon, then pick up the next word.
B'Torato, V'yadata
Mhm.
Hayom V'Hashevota
Mhm.
El Levavecha Ki Adonai Hu Ha-Elohim.
Perfect. Stop right there. Thank you. Let's see, Audrey, will you finish this off?
No, where are we?
That's fine. That's
Bashamayim, the very last. So Bashamayim. You're in Sim Shalom. So
Shalom,
it's
yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, eighth line down, third word from the left-hand side.
Eighth line
Hashem.
down from the second paragraph.
No, the top paragraph.
Oh, then how come you guys told me the 10th line last time? 1, 2.
I was counting in the wrong book. I didn't know you were in the other book.
That's why I've still not been able to find it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've been in the second paragraph looking for you guys.
Okay, so and the third word from the left side, Bashamayim.
From the left side. Bashamayim. Oh, okay, got it. Is that where I start?
Yeah.
Okay, Bashamayim, thank you. Nima o al.
Al.
Baal. Sorry, I'm saying haaretz. Mina
Mita.
mita ha hat.
Ain. 2 dots is A.
Ain. Or.
That's a dalet at the end of that.
Oh, not what I usually do. Anode. And in fact, I know that.
Yes, ain ode. Okay.
Let me do more.
Well, hold on now. Let's not get jumping ahead. Okay. So in my show, yes, Susan, you have a question?
It's not a question, it's a comment. In the Siddur Sim Shalom, we were just discussing the patah with the dot underneath it.
Uh-huh.
And in my Torah Aura book, it has the big comments that says to pronounce it as O.
Uh-huh. Okay, but that's not under Begavhe, is it? Begovhe? It's Begavhe.
It's
what word are you
in here? It's Begovhe.
Oh my goodness, maybe that's an old. So we say Begavhe. We definitely say Begavhe.
I mean, this is this book.
Yeah, I'm not familiar, but I know. Yes, we talked. Yes, so interesting. So that's a pronunciation mark for the kamatz sounding more like an O. Which
well,
is like
underneath it says Reconstructionist.
Because I was gonna say I've never heard that.
That's not what I ordered, I don't think.
Don't worry. But so, the word kal often is pronounced kol. Even though it's spelled kal, it's often pronounced kol,
right,
which is that pronunciation you're referring to. But I've never heard that for this word begavhe. Begovhe. No, we say begavhe. Anyway, it's all right. But thank you for explaining it to us. And that's probably, as I was saying before, it's a pronunciation indicator. And regionally, these things change it from time to time, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, all right. So in my shul, we would have sung this whole part, right? And then you get to Yaretz mitachat ein od. And then there's the silent part, which is the beginning of the second paragraph. And I wasn't planning on us reading through the silent part. I was going to have us go down to, it's the next page in Lev Shalem. It's the same page in Sim Shalom. But so let's see if, so go down to the bottom of the next paragraph, at least in Sim Shalom, and then count back. You see the box before V'nei Amar? Go up another line to the word kakatuv. It's kind of in the middle of the third line from the bottom of the second paragraph in Sim Shalom. And Lev Shalem, it's marked with a red triangle on its side, a red carrot. You see that?
Yep.
Excuse me,
Okay.
please repeat where it is in Lev Shalom.
In Lev Shalem, page 57.
Yeah.
Okay, look at this. You see the the second paragraph on that page, there's a red
Red arrow. Is it
arrow, exactly.
three
That's
lines?
where we're, yes.
Oh,
that's
3
it.
lines.
Yes, the bottom 3 lines,
Got
exactly.
it. Got it.
That's where we're picking up, okay? Kakatuv,
Thank you.
you're welcome. All right, so Lenore, will you read?
Yes. Kakatu Torah Tech Ha Adonai Yimloch Olam Va'et.
Thank you, very nice. Margaret, will you read? You have to unmute though, unless it's loud there and you don't want to.
I'll try it. If my dog interrupts, we'll just move ahead. Okay. V'nei Amar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz.
Perfect, thank you. That was very good. Thank you. Geraldine, will you read the last line? You have to unmute.
Ooh, okay. The last line. Okay. The last line. By wait. Ba ayam ha hu ayam.
Don't sing it, just read it. Just read it now. Don't sing it. I know you're singing it in your head.
Yeah, you got to sing it 3 times.
Yay, yay.
Yes.
Oh,
Ye-
it
yeah.
is? Ooh.
Yes. Yeah.
Adonai Echad
Yes.
Ush. No.
Yes.
Usho Mo Echad.
Yes. So now look at the word ushmo for just a second. Okay. Ushmo. You're right. I just want you to look at it. Ushmo.
Ushmo Echad.
There it is. Perfect. You did very nicely. Thank you. Okay. So I'm gonna, well, I can chant it for you if you like, or I will also send you. Did I already send you a YouTube of it being chanted? You're saying no. Okay, then I haven't shared it. I will. There are 2 beautiful YouTubes that I will share with you. But in the meantime, if you want to chant it with me, mute yourself and chant along, okay? I will do my best to go slow. I acknowledge that I don't always go slow enough, but I will do my best. All right, so we're going to start at the top and we're going to chant exactly what we read. So we're going to get to the bottom of the first paragraph, or in our case, the first page. Then we're going to go to and pick up at kakatuv, just like we read just now. Okay, here we go. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol late gedula liotzer breshit shelo asanu kagoye ha'aratzot velo samanu Kamishpachot ha'adama. Shelo sam helkenu kahem. Vigoralenu kechol hamonam. Vanachnu korim umishtachavim umodim livnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu notei shamayim v'yosed haaretz umoshav yikaro Bashamayim bima'al Ushchinatu zo Begape meromim. Oh, so bad. Sorry. Hu Eloheinu ein od Ememalkeinu epezulato Kakatu v'torato Yadata hayom v'hashevota elevavecha ki Adonai hu ha-Elohim bashamayim miva'al ve'al haaretz mitachad ein od. Sorry. Turn the page.
Can we get everybody else
Part
to
had that
mute?
tune. I've always
Can we
loved
get
that.
everybody else to mute because they're
Okay, yes, you have to, ladies, if you're gonna chant, you gotta mute. There's just a couple who haven't muted. Okay,
Oh, I know.
turning, okay. Kakatu. B'toratecha Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed v'ne'emar v'hayam Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yiyeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Okay, that was pretty good, except for where I really went sharp. I do apologize. I am not a singer. Okay, I think we did great with that. We're going to move on. So in the Ein Eloheinu book, he then starts talking about an overview of the Shabbat morning service. And, I leave that for you guys to read. It starts on page 23. I'm going to give you a quick, my version, okay, for whatever it's worth. So there's three major sections of the Shabbat morning service. We have Shachrit, the Torah Service, and Musaf. In Shachrit and Musaf, basically we're praying to God. In the Torah reading or the Torah service during the reading, we listen to God as opposed to pray to him. We listen to him. So Shachrit is obviously the early morning service. It must be begun in the early morning. And it starts with, on Shabbat, it starts with Pesukei de Zimra. Pesukei de Zimra translates into chapters of songs. There are 8 psalms that are preparatory and celebrate the relationship of God to the world and God to the people Israel. As part of Pesukei de Zimra, there's the Shema, and then the Shabbat Amidah. Well, it follows the Pesukei de Zimra. So the idea of creation is celebrated, and the blessing of creation preceding the Shema is expanded on Shabbat morning, as opposed to the rest of the week. And the Shabbat Amidah is shortened actually to 7 blessings, with the central and longest blessing focused only on Shabbat. I know it's kind of hard to, when you're in services, I have a hard time kind of realizing this is different from what I may have done, on a different day of the week. So that's why I'm kind of going through it. The Amidah, Amidah means standing. It's also referred to, when I was young, we referred to it as the Shemona Esrei. So the silent devotion, same prayer, different names. Then, of course, the Torah service, which is focused on taking the Torah out of the ark and reading from it. On Shabbat, the only day we have 7 aliyot, 7 readings from the Torah. Even on Yom Kippur, we don't have 7. We can only have 6. During the week, when we read Torah weekdays, usually you have 3, but you can expand that to up to 5, I think, during the week. But as I say, on Shabbat, you have 7. And we are going to turn our attention. Well, I'll continue on in my little summary here. So then after the Torah service, you get to the Musaf Amidah. So interestingly, I didn't remember this, but during the time when the temple was in existence, there was an extra sacrifice on Shabbat called Musaf. It was only brought on Shabbat and festivals. So this Musaf service recalls that and is obviously the substitute for it. And during the repetition of the Amidah on Shabbat, we add the Kedusha, which we will, of course, practice here. On Shabbat and holiday mornings, we have 2 Kedusha prayers, 2 Kedushot, one for the Shacharit Amidah and a different one for the Musaf Amidah, which includes the additional reciting of another Shema. So one of the nice points that Rabbi Golinkin makes in his explaining of the service, oh, maybe it's actually, you know what, I could be confused. It might be, if you look in the front of your Lev Shalem book, there's also some nice introductory descriptions, but I don't remember where I found this. But you know, the Shabbat service is much longer, and there's a reason the Shabbat service is much longer. The theory was nobody was rushing out to get to work, right? So we can add more solemnity. We can add more thoughts about what we want you to be focused on Shabbat. And that's what they've done. And they've added a lot of it. And I think they decided, you know, we can fill it all up until it's time for lunch. And then we finish Shabbat morning service and we go right into lunch. And that's truly what has always happened at the shuls I have belonged to. They literally, I've always viewed it as the service takes up as much time as it needs to get us, and then it's time for lunch. So, which is, I think, not uncommon, you know, it's part of our ritual. So at any rate, I'll stop with that. I want us to go directly to the Torah service for Shabbat in Sidor Lev Shalem. That's going to be page 168. And I believe in Sim Shalom, it's going to be page 394. It is. Just so you know, if you actually turn one page back in both books, you will find Kaddish Shalem, which is just, you know, we talked about this last semester, people who were in my class, that there's 4 different types of Kaddishes, and one of the Kaddishes, Kaddish Shalem, they tend to come as to break up parts of the service or to mark the end of something. You know, you have Kaddish de Rabbanan, where you say it after you've done some Torah study. You have the Hatzi Kaddish, which comes between certain parts of the service. You have the Mourner's Kaddish, which is Kaddish Shalem. So it's very common if you're paging through a Siddur and you're trying to find a new section, if you get to a Kaddish or turn the page and you might have the beginning of a new section of that service. So that was my digression. Okay, so the Torah service, Moha, is about the sort of the grandeur of taking the Torah out of the ark. And again, Rabbi Golinkin does a beautiful job of explaining a lot of that. The ark, you know, used to move about. It used to move to where the people were. Now, of course, we have it stationary in our synagogues. So, but yet the prayer is still the same. So I misspoke before. So this is the Inca Moha prayer. So you should be somewhat familiar, I hope. Ein kamocha ve'Elohim Adonai ve'ein kema'asecha Malachutcha, malachut, kol alamim, umemshaltecha, v'chol dor vador. Right? That's the prayer I'm talking about. Sound familiar? Yes, good. Okay. All right, so we're going to start reading it.
Wait.
Rachel,
Rachel,
what page is Inca Moha on?
All right, depending on the book you're in Lev Shalem,
Lev Shalem.
168, it should say the Shabbat Torah Service at the top of page 168 on the left side. Audrey, you need it for Sim Shalom?
I have a question, which is, why is Adonai in letters? I mean, why is it actually spelled out? Is that Adonai, like Adonai?
It is. It does say Adonai. That's what it does say.
Why is it instead of, what we usually do?
Well, that is a fine question. And I didn't focus on it. It's just what I've always known to be the case.
We don't have to answer it now, but it was so shocking to me to see it.
It's not are you in Lev Shalem? Because it's not in Sim Shalom.
What do you mean? It's spelled out.
It is. It is. It's spelled out in both.
Not where I'm looking. I'm not sure where you're looking.
The very first line, Ein Kamocha, the Elohim.
Okay.
You
And
see
then
it?
instead of the usual substitute, we have it actually spelled out.
And I don't know the answer.
Okay.
Okay, but let's I don't know the answer, but you always ask good questions.
You can really tell what the yud does, though, with that word. How it changes the na.
Okay, so we're going to start reading, and Audrey, I'm going to pick on you. So read the first line.
Okay. That's what I get. Ein kamocha, but Elohim Adonai, bet Ein, the Ein. Does it do anything? No. The Ein, Kema Asher.
The dot is on the left.
Secha. Malkutcha. Malkut. Bal. Ola. Mim.
Nice. Why don't you stop there? Thank you. That was really nice. Marlene, will you pick up next?
Is this on the third line down?
Second. Oh, which?
So in Lev Shalem?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
You see Umem Shal?
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
I see where you. Can you hear me?
Maybe
Yes.
it's not me.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me speak? Okay, I've been having some audio problems this morning, so I was in on my phone. Okay. Umem shelcha.
Shaltacha. Slow down. You have to, so the
Umem sheltacha.
there it is.
Umem sheltacha. Behol dor bador.
Keep going.
Adonai Melech. Adonai Malach. Adonai. No. What is it? Adonai Imloch Leolam.
Nice. Very good. Thank you. The next line, Linda?
Adonai, can you hear me? Adonai, Oz, Le Amo, Ite, Adonai, Reich.
Yeah, do that word again.
Yeva Reich.
Yes.
Et Amo, Ba Shalom.
Ba Shalom. Very nice. Thank you. Okay. Barbara, will you pick up?
I can barely see the vowels in this small book because this page isn't.
I can pass on you. It's okay.
Oh, well, okay. I would appreciate it.
Yeah, don't worry. Sue, will you pick up? I think you're muted. I can't hear you, but I see your mouth moving.
I was muted. Okay, here we go. Av ha-rachamim he-tiva v'rtzonecha et Zion.
Beautiful. Now here I want to point out, when we sing it, I'm guessing that we think the words end in a slightly different place. Av ha-rachamim he-tiva v'rtzonecha et Zion. I'm just saying, you read it perfectly. He-tiva v'rtzonecha. That's where I think people might get a little, depending on who's singing it, those words sometimes feel like they're running together. But you read it perfectly. Thank you. Connie, will you pick up next? Oh, you might be muted because I'm not hearing you.
Whoops. Tivana.
Tivne.
Tomot.
So that's a chet. The word begins with a chet.
Oh, yeah. Tivne, Chomot, Yerushalayim, Ki Vach.
So look at this word, the word after ki, v'cha.
Ki Vacha, Levad, Bita Chenu.
So you're go slow. Under the bet is a little t and ah, right? It's
Ba.
right.
Yeah.
Ba.
Batachnu.
There it is. Batachnu. Yes. Thank you. That's good.
Levad Batachnu. Okay.
Great. Okay. Lenore, will you unmute and read the next line?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure where you left off. Melech.
Yes.
Is that where it is?
Yes.
Melech, El Ram, Veni Sa, Adon Olamim.
Perfect. Thank you.
And then go
That's
on.
perfect. No, why don't you stop there? Susan, will you do what's next after it says we rise as the ark is open? Susan, I think you're muted.
Okay,
Thank
I thought
you.
I had unmuted. By he being saw.
Okay.
Roan.
Slow down. Let's go back a minute. So bean, and then the samach has a dot in the upper left corner. Ignore the line under the samach, and the vowel is the dot in the upper left corner for O.
So it's being soa.
Exactly.
Aaron Vayo Mer.
Yes.
Moshe.
Perfect.
Kuma Adonai V'Yafutsu. Oh,
this one's a tricky if you really look at how this word is spelled. So you have the aleph with a dot in the upper left corner. Then you have the yud with a shava. So it's O y ve.
okay. Oh, you Vecha.
Yeah.
Could you repeat what that word is?
Oh.
Oh, Yevecha.
That's it. Oh, Yevecha.
Or I meant the one before.
Oh, Vayafutsu. Oh, Yevecha. Go ahead, Susan.
Vaya, let's see, Vayanusu,
Mm-hmm. But
Masan
yeah,
Mi Paneha.
very good. Exactly. So Kuma Adonai V'yafutsu Oyavecha V'yanusu Misanecha Mitpanecha. A little bit of a tongue twister. You
That's
did really-
hard. That's a hard one.
Yeah, you did really, really well.
Thank you.
Arlene, will you do the next line? You have to unmute.
Starting with key.
Key,
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, Arlene, not Marlene. I apologize.
I'm sorry. My
It's-
here.
Key, Mitzion, Tetsei, Torah, Udvar,
Mhm.
Adonai, Me Rushalayim,
Very good. Nice.
Baruch, Shenatan, Torah, Leamo, Yisrael,
It's actually lit amo.
Litamo, Yisrael,
Mhm.
Bikdushato,
Very nice. Really,
Bikdushato.
very good. Really good. Okay. All right. So you guys want to mute and we'll chant it? Or is there any questions? Any questions about pronunciations before we do that? Okay. All right. So go ahead and mute. Lenore, you're not muted.
Oh, you're,
I think everybody else is muted. Okay, so we're gonna start at the beginning. Ein kamocha ve'elohim Adonai ve'ein kemasecha malachutcha malachut kol olamim umemshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor Adonai melech Adonai malach, Adonai imloch, le'olam va'ed. Adonai oz, le'amo yitain. Adonai yivarech, et amo v'shalom. Av harachamim, heitiva v'irtzoncha, et Zion. Tivne chomot Yerushalayim. Tivne chomot Yerushalayim. Ki becha levad batachnu. Melech Elram v'nisa. Adon olamim. Vayehi bin so Aaron, Vayomer Moshe, Kuma Adonai, Ve'afutzu oyavecha, Ve'anusu misanecha, mitpanecha, Ki mitzion Tetsei Torah, Ki mitzion Tetsei Torah, Udevar Adonai, Mirushalayim, Baruch Shenatan, Torah, Torah, Baruch Shenatan, Torah, Torah, Le'amo Yisrael, Bidushato. Okay. Eileen, you have a question? Yeah, unmute. Everybody's, you got to unmute because I made you mute. Unmute, unmute.
Do you have a good source for us to listen to?
Yes, I'm going to send it to you.
Good.
Yes, I found YouTube, some lovely cantors chanting a lot of this, and I will share that with you in my follow-up email, okay?
It's very helpful.
Yes. Some of them aren't quite that slow, which is why I decided that I would try to chant for you today.
Oh, nothing against you.
I am not a chazan. I am a lay person with an awfully common sore throat. So yes, Barbara.
I wonder, is there any symbol for the parts that you repeat?
That's the nusach. There's no symbol for it. And there's different, some,
Different
I learned
tunes,
it with
so-
those repetitions. I learned it as a very small child. I literally learned to chant this prayer before I could read.
Wow.
There are other versions of this prayer where they don't exactly, in other words, in Shul today, there are some chazanot who are cantors, they don't repeat where I repeat. They kind of push forward. I'm not used to it that way. And so I chant it the way I remember it from way back when. I think the ones I found are pretty similar to what I just chanted. But for me, the most important thing is that you guys feel comfortable with pronunciation, how to pronounce the word. And if you're comfortable pronouncing the word, whatever that tune is, you'll flow with them, I think, if that's what you're familiar with. Marlene, yes.
You repeat, you can catch up, but I just wondered.
Yeah.
It's not a standard tune, so yes, different people are going to repeat.
I've never seen a book where it actually tells you repeat this 2 times, 3 times. There are some places, give me 1 second, Marlene. There are some places in this book, for instance, so where they will tell you, I can't find it right here, but I know, for instance, I remember at high holidays, you're standing, Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum, V'chanun, Erech, Apayim, Makarim. They tell you we often repeat it 3 times. And so that sort of thing. But within a line, they don't tend to tell you repeat this.
Thank you.
Yes, Marlene.
Barbara, I just wanted to share, I guess it would be a hack that worked for me because I asked this exact question when I was first ever asked to lead Aleinu. And now I don't remember studying the Shabbat Torah Service ever before closely. I chose to print out the prayers where there were repetition, especially if I was going to lead it. But even if you're just learning it, I printed it out, and there were all sorts of different fonts, but in big spaces, and I literally put like the symbol above it ×2. You know what I mean? Instead of repeating, like I had like what would be like instead of a sideways parentheses, it was like on top, and it said ×2. I don't know if you can see it on here.
Yeah.
Well, you see that?
Yeah. You put a bracket above it. Yeah.
For me, so basically you would be printing out pages, but I guess when you see it like that in your own hand in a bigger space, then by the time you go back to the prayer book, as Rachel said, this is why they teach children at 2 and 3 with honey before, that they're reading English. So that worked for me, and I thought I'd share it with the class.
Susan, yeah.
Our bar mitzvah students actually write in the Siddur.
Yeah.
And sometimes they end up circulating, and on Shabbat, I'll get a book and it'll have the markings in it. But they should just keep it and pass it down to the individual kids, but they don't.
You're right. And I don't know. I can't remember where I've, so like there are different versions of this book. You can buy a leader's version of this book. And I think partly it's larger print, but there also might be, I don't know if there's other annotations, but I have certainly seen those who lead services frequently handwrite, have annotations in their books for themselves. Well, I don't know what those annotations say, but that's not uncommon. And I also learned when my son was studying for his bar mitzvah, a tutor that he had at sleepaway camp, who was not his regular tutor here at my shul, he came back with his papers, and his tutor at sleepaway camp used different color highlighters. Like you can't really, that's why I have yellow, I have blue, I have, whatever. And he had highlight the trope, the words that were in the same trope were in the same highlighter color. which I had never seen before, but now it's very, very common. You see that bar and bat mitzvah tutors use highlighter color that correspond to a certain trope. Now, obviously, that doesn't quite work here, but I'm just saying there's nothing wrong with giving yourself annotations or notations to clue you in. It used to be, so that's another good point. So the difference between Siddur Sim Shalom and Siddur Lev Shalem. So in Siddur Sim Shalom, Aleinu, as I realized in talking to you guys, Aleinu is printed totally differently. Aleinu is printed in Sim Shalom in 2 large block paragraphs. Exactly what Barbara's holding up. As opposed to in Lev Shalem, Aleinu is printed in short couplets.
Oh,
So,
wow, that's really different.
totally different the way it's, right? And that's another reason why I wanted you to use whatever book you're going to be most commonly using. I only literally just got a Lev Shalem 2 days ago. I've always, at home, I've just never had one. I use it at shul. I have 4 copies of Siddur Sim Shalom in my house. I didn't see the need to buy yet another prayer book, but I decided for this class, I should have in front of me what you guys have in front of you. So I gifted myself yet another prayer book. And again, you feel free to make notes in your prayer book. Nothing wrong with that, truly, okay?
Yeah, in
All
the
right.
prayer book that I have, it's totally run on. There are no lines. It's just words run on. So when
Yeah.
you say lines, I just have to find the place. So
Okay, well, I'll do my best to,
no, it doesn't matter. I can
And Audrey,
follow.
holler out if you don't know the place. You're not getting anything out of class if you don't know the place.
So you thought, because I said something about Lev Shalom at the beginning, I think you thought I had.
I did.
Lev Shalom, but I specifically said Sim Shalom. So
I'm sorry.
So when we said that, so I was looking after asking, but I wanted to say, is there anyone who wants Lev Shalom and hasn't gotten it yet? Because what I was saying before, I think I got misinterpreted. I wasn't talking about the book. I was talking about ordering it. And did you get yours in person, Rachel, or did you order it?
I bought it from the Rabbinical Assembly website.
So did I. And so there's a really good price, right?
Yes, it's just the shipping that'll cost you the same as the book almost.
No, she told me a trick.
I missed the trick.
Oh, I called up and she said, so did you pay more than $6.95?
For shipping? You darn right I did.
Right.
I paid almost as much for shipping as the book.
Right. I'm sorry. So if anybody else is ordering it, check with me and I just email me because I have it written down, but there's another place where you can check and it's only $6.95. So
right. I paid about $20 for shipping, $24 for the book.
I'm so
like
sorry.
It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. But Barbara.
I have a question. Lev Shalem. What does Shalem mean? It's obviously not Shalom. What
It is not Shalom, it is Shalem. Obviously the root word is the same, and I don't know exactly. I expected one of you to ask me that. And I don't know exactly the answer, but we'll see.
I thought maybe I'd Google it after class and see what the answer is. But
well, share it with us when you get it.
My children used for years Sim Shalom. And then they switched, and when they made the switch over to Lev Shalom, I guess it took people a while to get used to the change, but nobody really complained about it. But it was a big deal because it was Sim Shalom forever, and then they switched.
Right, and it's a very big dollar investment when synagogues switch prayer books. It costs them a fortune. What I remember very distinctly when they switched to the Machzor Lev Shalem.
Yeah.
I loved that book. I don't know anyone who didn't love that book. There's such wonderful extra things to read in that new Machzor. I think it's phenomenal. Jane, you have a question?
Just wanted to know our homework because I'm going to have to run.
So the next prayer we're going to do, and I'll send you an email, but the next prayer is just following along in the Torah service with the Torah processional and the Shema, and then we'll move on to Aliyot. So it kind of depends on how fast we're going to go. We might review Chatzi Kaddish. I'm going to send you a new curriculum. I added prayers to it. I apologize. I can never make it so you can see. Anyway, I'll attach this to the email I send you in just a few minutes. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Could-
Thank
Would
you.
we have time to review taking out the Torah, this that we just did today?
The prayer we just
The
did,
beginning next week, yeah.
Inca Moha. If you need me to, I'm going to hopefully send you a YouTube for you to get a good practice of it yourself. And let me see, give me 1 second.
I agree with Connie. I would like to hear it again.
It's
or
also
run it
on-
again.
Okay, it's also on Behrman, so I'll send it to you on Behrman as well. Okay,